What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review. Got a top 10 list for you guys. I just saw Dark Phoenix a couple of weeks ago, and now it is time for me to rank these films. If you don't already know, I'm sure you already know by now, Disney has purchased Fox's movie properties, and that of course includes their Marvel properties like Fantastic Four, X-Men, Deadpool, and the X-Men franchise has officially ended, and it coincidentally has ended with 10 X-Men films, not including the Deadpool films. So 10 X-Men films, and it's perfect because now that it has ended with 10 films, I can give you a ranking. So let's just start off with number 10. X-Men Origins Wolverine. I think that a lot of fans feel the same way about X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's just not a good film. It's a very, very bland and very, very standard action film. But as an X-Men film, it is really, really weak. Introducing a whole bunch of characters that we haven't seen yet in the X-Men franchise by 20th Century Fox, and then just giving them a little bit of screen time, and not the versions of the characters we would have wanted them to be like, and just showing Deadpool as like a weird kind of mix of different mutant powers and not actually Deadpool, and also some really bad CG and just nothing really exciting about it. That falls in number 10. Number 9, X-Men The Last Stand. Now, a lot of people's complaint about this movie is that they just killed everybody off, or at least killed some of the main characters. And that was something that people weren't very happy about. And also that this film just felt like like it should have been a finale, and they tried to give us a grand finale, but at the end of the day, it was just a whole bunch of armies going against, well, not armies, the X-Men going up against an army of evil mutants, which were pretty much nameless. I mean, if you're a real big fan, you will know who they are just because of their mutant abilities, but it just feels like none of the characters were given, like, proper justice. And to top things off, Dark Phoenix Saga in The Last Stand was not the Dark Phoenix Saga. It should have been way more epic. And they just really, really rushed through it all when it could have been a saga. So, yeah, X-Men The Last Stand from director Brett Ratner is number 9. Number 8, X-Men Apocalypse. Now, this was definitely disappointing. Bryan Singer gave us a bunch of solid X-Men films. X1, X2, Days of Future Past. You know, what a great film. And then he jumps to Apocalypse, and I just watched it again recently, and it's pretty bad. Yeah, when I watched it in the theater, I tried to convince myself that it was at least okay and good. Watching it again really reminded me of how bad it actually is. You know, one of the biggest things that was bad about it is the fact that Oscar Isaac, playing Apocalypse, and Apocalypse with the crappy makeup, the costume, the Power Rangers looking like villain version of himself, it just doesn't work, and it's so distracting. It takes you away from the movie. And I think the only best scene in the movie is really the scenes with Magneto like trying to live a good life, right? I think that was quite dramatic and emotional, but everything after that was not really that great. I mean, I did enjoy the Wolverine scenes, the cameo scenes. I did like the Quicksilver scenes, but that's it. Everything else, it just feels like been there, done that, nothing special, kind of snooze fest. So that's really unfortunate. Number 7, The Wolverine. Now this is, I actually like this film. I thought it was okay to good, somewhere between there. It's a decent film. I mean, Hugh Jackman once again puts on a great performance as the Wolverine, and this was a much better solo outing than X-Men Origins Wolverine, and at least this is something that follows the comics where he goes to Japan and fights ninjas and samurais. That's really, really cool, and it really brings a new aspect to his character as well. Like, we really see that that side of him that we've been waiting for, to really see him unleash hell on his opponents, as well as include a character that he really cares about, like a supporting character that he has a bit of a romance with. So that is really awesome. I thought the Silver Samurai aspect of the film, the antagonist aspect, was a bit weak, but everything else about this film was still good. So I liked it. Number 6, Dark Phoenix. Say what you will about this film. I like this film. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Not great, not perfect, not even epic, but still good. And I thought that because it just felt so different. It felt fresh. I love the fact that the X-Men were actually working together as a unit. Because when you watch all the other X-Men films, the action is so random. Like they just, like they showed them like working as a team, but not like this. In every other film, they're kind of like doing their own thing because Hugh Jackman is kind of like, you know, a lone wolf, but like he's not in this one. And you see all the characters just working together, using their abilities in a way that we've never seen before, in a more brutal fashion. It just feels more real, more raw, more street, you know, especially the violence that takes place in this film. I like it. I really like it a lot. The antagonist aspect is weak, but still, I thought this film was great, especially, or good rather, especially that train sequence. The train sequence was sick. Really liked that scene. Number 5, now we're starting to get to the good to great X-Men films. X-Men, alright? This one redefined superhero movies. This is the first superhero group movie, like a superhero team movie, and it really did an excellent job at it. Bryan Singer showed us what we can get out of superhero movies, and it was like one film after another. You know, it was like Blade was redefining, then Spider-Man, and then X-Men. I mean, it was so good. So I think X-Men actually came before Spider-Man. But anyways, the fact is that X-Men was really a defining moment in superhero films, or just like films in general. Like they really did something special there. Number 4, X2. X-Men United. Now that is an even better film. Bryan Singer outdid himself, making a sequel better than the first one. Now this is obviously not a very common thing, but it seems to be getting, you know, with the right directors, you can make a sequel better than the original, which is not common. So really, really awesome. We got to see Wolverine unleash fury, and we have a really great antagonist element about it. You know, it was about Stryker. You know, the Stryker story. You know, Weapon X and all that, and we got I forgot her name. Lady Deathstrike against Wolverine. That was really, really cool. And this is a much better film than the first one. Number 3, Logan. Oh man, Logan was so good. An R-rated X-Men film, and this one is the best solo outing for Wolverine. You know, there was the Wolverine and the X-Men Origins Wolverine, but this one was really good. Logan was really, really good. Great performance. I mean, this one was nominated for an Oscar, so that's how good it is. And it was just brutal, and it needed to be, because we haven't seen an R-rated version of Wolverine, and I think we deserve that. And director James Mangold, he gave us a really, really great story, an emotional performance, and just a really real and raw story. And it's not too flashy. It's got mutants in it, but it's not too flashy, and I love that about it. It was just brutal. It was so good. Number 2, X-Men First Class. Now that was oh man. When I first saw that, I told myself that, okay, this is the best X-Men film. X-Men First Class, it's a reboot. I mean, you call it a reboot, you call it a prequel, but I'll call it a prequel, okay? But I love the fact that they just took it back to basics. You know, had it take place in, what is it, the 60s, the 70s? I think it was the 60s. And then it just felt fresh. Yeah, it just felt like this is cool, because I'm seeing a brand new cast, a brand new direction. Matthew Vaughn directing, and he's a really good storyteller, and he gave us what the fans wanted. And this was a really good origin story. And you know, we just came out of watching X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is supposed to be the origin story of Wolverine, but like this is the true origin story of the X-Men, and you got a great antagonist played by Kevin Bacon, and a lot of other really great comic book elements, you know, taken from the source material, introduction of different characters, and yeah, it was just a lot of really great character development in this movie. Okay, you already know what the first one is. X-Men Days of Future Past. I feel like X-Men Days of Future Past is the Avengers Endgame of the X-Men franchise. There's time travel involved, and then they brought everybody together. Like, literally everybody has been brought together, and that's what made this movie so great. Bringing back the new cast and the old cast, and just seeing them all come together in a very, very seamless way. It just feels so perfect, and it just feels like a great fix to all the garbage that we, well, not garbage, but like the crappy films that we were given previously, like The Last Stand, X-Men Origins, Wolverine. Like, this was the fix. Like, it's like you pressed the reset button. Bryan Singer. But we went on to X-Men Apocalypse, but I'm not going to talk about that. But X-Men Days of Future Past was so good, bringing in the Sentinels and Bolivar Trask, and just that time travel story was so good. It's a near perfect film, and it has a really great story. So there you have it. That is my ranking of the X-Men franchise from 20th Century Fox. The franchise has now come to a close, and we're not going to see mutants, or at least the X-Men, for another 5 years. At least that's what Disney says, because they've already mapped out Phase 4, and Phase 4 doesn't have any X-Men in it. Maybe they'll hint at mutants, but we won't see any X-Men for a while, because, you know, they had just bought the franchise from Fox, but when they did that, they had already mapped out Phase 4, so that wasn't in their cards. So yeah, just enjoy the previous X-Men films if you need your X-Men fix. And of course, there's Deadpool 1 and 2. Alright, there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this top 10 list. Let me know what your top 10 X-Men films are. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, you want to see more, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.